What is it that you're doing to establish those routine expectations and, even more importantly, develop those relationships in the classroom immediately?
Welcome to the School Culture and Climate Show. Hosted by Steve, a passionate advocate for positive school culture and climate, together with Megan. Join us as we explore strategies, share success stories, and provide actionable tips to improve the culture and climate in your school.
Hey gang, here we are. This is the first official episode of School Culture and Climate Show. And you can see we're together. All right?
I know, for the first one.
Yeah, first one. Now, for those who are brand new to this, my name's Steve Bowler, also known as Stand Tall Steve.
And I am Megan Dede.
All right. So this is all about, now in the past, let me back up a little bit. The show was the Stand Tall Leadership Show for 4 seasons. It was mostly me. I had guests that came on the back end. We had Meg join us, so that way we can have some different perspective from the classroom level as well as administrative level and district level. That way we can do it that way. But we realized that this is really all about climate and culture in schools. So it just made sense to change the name to the School Climate and Culture Show, because that's exactly what this is all about. So this being the changeover from the Stand Tall Leadership Show to this, and we're really excited about it, right? Now, why in the world are we together? It's not, because usually you're in a completely different part of the world than I am.
Yep, so, Wyoming, we're in
New Jersey, but we're together. And why are we together?
We just finished our second within our ranks summit.
Summit retreat, yes.
Yes.
And for those who are not familiar with that, within our ranks is training for educators who want to speak professionally. Period. That's what it is. If you're a K-12 educator in any way and you want to speak, train, consult in K-12 education, this is a way to get that training to do it. And do it by having these summits, retreats, call it whatever you want, weekends where they all come together and we just pour into it. We literally just finished. Like we just packed up the room half hour ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was great. We had some really great people in this room.
We had some people from all over, from Cleveland, Ohio, Miami-Dade, here in New Jersey, like all over the place. And they walked out of here just ready to go. Like this was it. They really helped them tremendously.
That was what it is. Yeah. Someone said that they are leaving now feeling unstuck. Oof.
That hit everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, but we're not here to talk about that for our episode today. We're not here to talk about that for our episode, being that this School Culture and Climate Show, and this being the first episode, is coming out in August. A lot of schools are just starting, getting things going. We felt it's very important to talk about setting the climate and culture in the classroom in the beginning of the year.
Right away.
Right away. What is it that you're doing to establish those routine expectations and, even more importantly, develop those relationships in the classroom immediately, so therefore it sets the tone for the remainder of the school year?
Yeah.
Right.
And those two things can happen together, integrated. You can build relationships and set your expectations at the same exact time.
At the same time. I'm going to lean a little bit more to you because you're in the classroom right now, right? You are a classroom teacher. You are a working teacher. And most of my career was at the administrative level. So I like to give that administrative, bigger building, district-wide perspective, which I will do. But where does your mind go? What things are you thinking about as far as starting that school year off, setting the culture and climate in the classroom?
I think more than anything, aside from setting up your classroom, making sure everything's in order, getting all your plans together, I think that first couple weeks of school, the first few days back, it's all about making sure that you're creating that safe environment for your students, making sure the expectations are being talked about. And I think that there can be a different approach that we can take to start meeting those expectations that they need to understand, and setting some ground rules that aren't so harsh and just, this is how it's going to be. And just kind of building that up with your students.
Yes. I mean, I've seen in a lot of cases, this administrative side, you start the school year off, some teachers are coming in ready for battle. Day one. They coming in with a shield, a sword, and armor, and they're just like, hey, welcome to school. Sit down. Do this. Don't do this. This is what's going to happen if you do. This is, I mean, man, you setting the school year off, and then they smile like, and I'm so happy to have you. No, you just,
Color this page.
Yeah, color this page. You just told me off. The kids are just like,
About
don't break the
respect.
crayon. So it's you know, you want to be authentic and you want to have a welcome environment, but also hold firm to what your expectations really are.
Okay, so what does that look like?
What does that look
Well,
like?
Okay, so I have some ideas for you. Working on a project, taking out your supplies, whatever that looks like, you can create an experience for your students based on some of the expectations that you want to set in your classroom. So if you want to set the expectation of how to get your supplies out of the bin, how to get them to your table, thinking primary, create that experience with them, come up with an idea where those things are embedded inside of that. And as you're going through that, building your relationship with your students, you're also teaching them, this is what I expect you to do. This is what it should look like, sound like.
Mm-hmm. And don't automatically think that they should know this. Okay. I'm going upper grades. All right. Because the further up in the grades you go, the more you blame the grades beneath you.
Yes.
Right? You got a 7th grade you should have learned this in elementary school. You should have learned this high school teacher. You should have learned this in middle school. 4th grade. You should have learned this in 3rd grade. All right? If this is what you want them to do, you need to show them. I have a thing when I speak and I train on classroom management, something called the EDGE method. EDGE. EDGE stands, and this is created from Scouting America. It used to be called Boy Scouts. It became Scout BSA, and now it's Scouting America, Scouts. And what it is explain, demonstrate, guide, enable. Because that's how Scouts, in Scouts, in the Boy Scouts, the older Scouts, Scouting America, the older Scouts teach the younger Scouts. And this is a process that you do. Explain what it is that you want, demonstrate to them what it is that you want, guide them through doing what it is that you want, and now you can enable them to do it on their own. Does it take a little bit extra time? Yes. But
we all know as you do that extra time, it's going to pay off in the long run. You're not constantly trying to go back and tell your students how to do it in the classroom. You don't feel as frustrated.
No, not at all. And it's going to take the time, but it increases the probability of success. And it's integrated in what it is that you're doing. And I'm always of the mindset of be blatant. Tell them don't assume that they're going to get it.
And every teacher is different. What you did in 2nd grade, the 3rd grade teacher wants it to look just this much different. And your kids, they need to create that home in your classroom so that you can, take risks and set high expectations and they feel safe in that environment.
Exactly. Same thing at the high school level. All right. These kids know high school. They're seniors. Take a minute. And if you feel weird about it, say to them, look, guys, I know you may already know this, but let's go over this yet again to make sure. And they were like, oh, okay. And they're not going to, some of them might complain, so whatever. Do it. And this way it increases, like I always love to say, that it increases the probability of success. I'd rather have that than the other.
Yes.
All right.
You say all the time, you need to be reminded more than you need to be taught.
You need to be reminded more than you need to be taught. So remind them yet again. We're dealing with what? Children.
Have you seen us in staff meetings? We need to be reminded. This is what we do every
It's like there's adults who can't get it right. We're dealing with children. All right. And here's the other little thing I'm going to say. Don't get that upset. You get so upset. Some people how many times I got to tell you that they're children?
More. All right. You gotta tell them more.
Tell them more.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe in a different way.
Yeah, in a different way. And so let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. About the presentation of it all, the saying it yet again, and all of those things. You need to maintain that positivity. And here's the thing: when they're doing it right, recognize that they're doing it right.
Absolutely.
Give the praise of them doing it correctly
in front of other kids.
Imagine that. Imagine that. And I'll go back to the probability thing. By doing that, does that increase the probability that they're going to be doing it right more? Yes. I don't want to say duh, but duh. You know what I mean?
Well, I think so. Okay, but we get wrapped up.
We get wrapped up. You're right. All right, let's back up. I don't want anybody to feel stupid, right? I don't want that.
Well,
right?
You stop and you're like, oh, that was not how I should have handled that situation. I could have done like, I mean, it's the beginning of the year. Everybody's, you're excited and stressed. But back to bringing in an experience, you know, maybe it's an arts, it's a movement, it's some other pathway than just set and get. This is what you're supposed to do, just like this. How could you create it in a different way and have some fun with your kids, build that relationship?
Yes. Do y'all understand what she's saying here, right? She just said, not the set and get. Point, set, embed it into activities, into things that are happening. And as you're doing it, you can build into that explanation. So they're not only understanding what it is that needs to be done, they're feeling it as well.
Okay, let's take one. Here's an example.
Let's do it. Yes.
So first couple days of school, you do get to know me activities. It's like an all about me paper or something. You're like, sit down, write it down, show me, put it on the bulletin board. All right, scratch that. Let's put in some movement. So you get a blank piece of paper, 3 lines of your primary, whatever. Write 3 things about yourself that would kind of stand out. Not my favorite color is blue. That doesn't help. Then you tell the students, okay, take that piece of paper. Don't put your name on it. Crinkle it up into a ball. And they look at you like you're crazy. And then you pause dramatically.
Dramatic pause.
And then you say, snowball fight. And then you just start throwing these balls of paper all over your classroom. Okay. Then you stop them and they have to pick up the snowball, the piece of paper that's closest to them, come back to the circle or wherever you're at. And then you read the 3 clues on your paper and try to guess who it is. Get to know you. So not only are you building your relationship with your students about getting to know them, some ideas, different things than just my favorite color is blue, but you can set expectations of what should it sound like, what should it look like, how do we sit on the carpet, whatever that may be based on what grade you're in.
Yes. Boom.
Boom.
Wonderful idea. Snowball fight idea. That's it. That's what we're talking about. That's what it is. And now you're a little bit happier. They're a little bit happier. They're thinking, oh, I got the cool teacher, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, they're just like, hey, this place is going to be strutting your stuff. You should. Now, here's another angle that I want you to kind of consider. One of the things I really focus on, and you'll hear a lot of this as we go through the Climate and Culture show and such, is the importance of understanding your values. What are your personal values that you have in your classroom as the teacher? Because your values are a set of beliefs that guide your behaviors and actions, right? What do you value? Now, I know in a school you have your rules. Do this, don't do this, do this. They put it in the front of the room. You should have that, your procedures, your expectations. But also, in turn, why not post what your values are? In this classroom, we value teamwork, accountability, integrity, grit, perseverance. Pick 2 or 3, maximum 4 words. This is what we value in this classroom. Talk about that with the kids. Why it's those 3 words. What do you think that means to you? Depending on the age level, make it age appropriate. You know, your high school, you can go deep into this stuff, right? You can talk about integrated, got your research, processes, procedures, all based off of what it is that you respect and value in that classroom. And then therefore using that as an anchor throughout the year on how behavior is, how actions are, being a part of this group, this team, because now the kids feel real belonging when they walk through the threshold of that door as to, these are our values. This is how it's done. These are the things that we hold in high regard in this classroom. Does that make sense, guys?
That's huge.
Yeah.
We call it the big 3.
The big 3.
We're 3rd graders, you know.
I like that. Big 3.
Yeah, and they think that they're picking the words. They're not.
No.
It's guided.
It's guided.
Yeah, they sign the paper, but it is always up front of the classroom, and we're constantly going, how does this attach to this? What about this? What about an art class? What about, you know?
Yes.
In Misty's class, this is how we are. So
that's exactly what it is.
It's huge.
And that's what it is. It's like, that's a real anchor chart to me. All right. You have an anchor chart that you're constantly referring back to as, this is what we embody. This is how we do things. Like for you, you have your students all day.
All day long.
Okay.
Yep.
That's your elementary. All right. Let's talk about departmentalized. All right. You're departmentalized. Maybe the other teachers don't have this. You're sitting there thinking, I can't do this. You can do it. You can do it in your classroom. When they walk the threshold of that door coming into you, this is what it is. This is the environment. This is who we are when we are here. And it's possible to have that.
And the respect that comes out of that, I feel when you set that expectation or that relationship, that they just know, like, and you work a little bit harder when someone puts that much into you.
Right.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
That's how it is. And similar to what we said, when you're setting those expectations of how to do things in the classroom, you're recognizing for, because it increases the probability. Same thing with with what you respect, your values. When they're showcasing what you value, you recognize that, and it increases the probability that they will continue to do that.
Absolutely.
All right? Even if you have those classes that it's just like everybody's a hot mess up in that class, still recognize when they do it, because it does increase that probability. And stay consistent with it.
You can get creative with those more challenging classes. Yeah, you gotta figure out your way.
Whew, there
That's
you go,
good.
gang. There's some good stuff. Start of the school year. Culture, climate in the classroom. Get it going, gang.
If you need any other ideas for starting up your classroom experiences, you can head on over to Integrated. We have a whole blog. There's like 10 or 15 ideas that you can grab and use for experiences and how to set up some of those expectations.
That's it. Now, if you're looking at the building or district level, those building bigger ideas, I have my book, Ideas. Tons of ideas. There's a whole section just called Start of the School Year. Ideas on how to do building-wide recognition, building-wide things to set the tone throughout everywhere to really move it to the next letter. Just go to standtallsteve.com, hit the tab for books, and then you can get that book there as well. All right. Also, I want to know, what kind of things do you do to set the tone, and ideas that you have to set the tone in your classroom or your building or your district? In the comments, please put those in there. Let's talk about that. I would love to find those things out and see if we can share, right? Why not share some of these ideas? Get some things going for that.
That'd be great.
Sounds like a plan, gang? Community.
Yes.
Stand tall, not class. Culture and Climate Show community, the Culture and Climate community.
It's gonna be hard to switch.
Yeah, we got to switch that. We got to keep that going. Oh, hey, there we go.
Yeah,
I think we had a good one. We have a good one that we
Absolutely.
can really help you guys out with. All right, make sure you keep in touch, like, follow, subscribe, all those things. And we'll be back again. We continue on with the School Culture and Climate Show.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.
Good luck.
Bye.